Hello and welcome back to the Commander's Guide to Casting the Last Spell. I'm Jade Starr, and I'm recording this at 1 in the morning, despite there probably being a very small claw lurking around in the darkness. Anyway, let's go check in with the Orichalcum, the Oracle Arena, o.co, if you know. We got a new set of questions. Yeah, why me? Why am I doing this? Less helpful. Although I would like to think that I am indeed very special. For killing, 30 enemies with the momentum skill, we've unlocked a cursed set of armor, which not a huge fan of, especially since the crown has negative EXP gain on it. I was hoping I had unlocked the Omen of Leaps with Bradford the previous night, but not yet. Maybe soon. The Omen of Leaps is very, very useful, I think, on one specific haven. Largely forgettable otherwise. Have a little bit of essence. I'm mostly going to just be dumping my Tainted Essence into the hero upgrades for this haven. As you're about to see, we're not going to need a lot of the other things that the dark side of the Oracle offers. We could get a standard level up, and we'll take damage. And ooh, crit power? I like it. It's rare, but Bradford has 3% crit chance. So, momentum? It feels a little bad passing up a rare for a common like that, but I think we're going to get more use out of it, especially if we stick with the pistol. Bradford has a lot of potential second-tier picks. There's Avid Learner, which I am going to eventually pick since it's just straight 25% EXP gain. There's Magic Fuel, which is one of my favorite second-tier picks, because it's just a flat damage increase for keeping mana on hand, which I tend to do. And then in the building column, the gray, is Defensive Training, which states that kills made by defensive features count as, or give the hero the killer bonus. What that means is that when an enemy is killed, whoever kills it gets a larger chunk of XP, and then some of it is spread out amongst the rest of the haven. However, if you have that trait, kills made by defensive structures like ballistas, catapults, and traps give that bonus to the person or the hero with the perk. So for what we're doing, having that perk is actually really, really nice. Again, I've kind of re-rolled myself into a corner here. Not super happy with all of these picks, or any of these picks, but I gotta pick something, and I was actually close to picking reliability, but no, that's garbage. 3 extra mana turns not much, but that's 3/4 of a hammer strike every night, so okay, you know, I can now throw 2 hammer strikes a night for 8 mana. Again, Serpentis has many of the same second tier picks. We're gonna go with the XP. It's still early in the haven. It still pays off. Gildenburg maybe less so than other ones because it's over soon. In fact, everybody has Avid Learner and Defensive Training, don't they? Jeez. Alright, that could be a good thing. We might have very high level heroes by the end of this. Who knows? I think I was trying to decide between accuracy and critical or something. I was looking at Red's perks, and I think I figured it was going to be kind of unlikely I was going to get all the way down to the bottom on Gildenburg. So I just actually lucked into a damage reroll, or rerolled into a damage. Well, the axe might be nice for Serpentis, but the light armor is a little higher level, and it has momentum on it. I'm gonna give that to Bradford. Oh, I hear my fuzzy little Claw out in there in the darkness somewhere. Kitty. Psst, psst, psst. Nope. Alright. I do like silver short bows. Specifically silver because they always come with experience gain, and it would be nice if I was going to be spending money on gear. But we're not going to spend money on gear. We have housing to build. We're immediately going to spend 7 workers digging up these ruins for money, or at least the money focus option. And then we're going to go look for upgrades. Now the house at the far south isn't upgraded yet, and it would be cheapest to upgrade it. But I'm not going to. I'm going to upgrade the 3 in the back first. That gives me enough workers to clear 1 more ruin. And now I could upgrade this one. Don't think I would get it fully upgraded, but I'm actually going to demolish it because I don't like where it is. I'm going to build it all the way back here, out of the approach of clawers, and importantly, not in the way of what we're about to do next. Our last worker is spent. I don't have enough to upgrade the house. So I came 1 worker short of full clearing the Haven of Rubble by the 2nd day phase. Maybe if I didn't move the house and I didn't have the 12% gold modifier, I could have full cleared the Haven. And then I'm looking at Urban Hate, I'm like, you know what? Let us full hubris this. Yeah, that's right. I'm going to get rid of all of the walls. Now, I'm not doing this just because of Urban Hate, but I probably wouldn't have done this unless I wasn't screwing around with Urban Hate. For those of you who are following along, might, for the first time seeing the game, might be wondering what on earth I'm planning and why do I care so much about Urban Hate or clearing out the walls. And the answer is, I don't actually care about either of those things. What we're going to do is we're going to build ballistas. We are going to build a lot of ballistas. And so this is going to be the start of the Degenerate Corpse Strategy. As was mentioned in the thread, and I should explain now for anybody who's watching only on YouTube, is that you've seen how we get corpses at the end of a night, start of a morning, and those can be dug up for resources or loot. Well, their formation and how valuable they are is not a constant. Essentially, there are 3 zones you need to know of. In the Haven, bordering a Haven tile, and then anything else. Clawers that die in the Haven are worth the most corpse pile points, for lack of a better term. So we want to kill clawers inside the Haven border. Unfortunately, this means they're in the zone where they can maybe hurt buildings or cause panic. Failing that, the game kind of expects you to have walls, so the zone, or the 1 tile strip that borders your Haven, is another zone that is about 90% as good as inside the Haven. And then there's a band of 4 tiles, and then another band of 4 tiles, I think. But those are too far out there to be worth our time. So this is what we're doing. We are intentionally inviting clawers into the Haven, and then shooting them once they are in the Haven. This is why I call it Degenerate Corpse Strategies. The corpses were sort of meant to be a catch-up mechanic, or a gap fill, or a little bit of a release valve, relief bonus for having a problem, having zombies get into your town and then stopping them there. The problem is that the corpse piles are actually real profitable, and it can be worth it to just let the clawers in and then kill them inside. And that is what we're going to be doing. Now, there are a couple of issues with what I have done. First of all, I've gone just all in on this. Usually I leave the walls there for like the first night or two, just kind of as a, I don't know, pressure valve, just slowly opening up into the Degenerate Corpse Strategy rather than just full blasting like this. The other thing is, So I hadn't really thought about it, but until we get going, it's a little bit rough making sure that this is safe. And Bradford is unfortunately not well equipped for this. If he moves a tile or two, his shot becomes a kill. If he doesn't move, it's okay. So Bradford has a little bit of a tough time in the northeast, whereas habitually Red here, with a weak wand, is great. Every turn I'm going to throw 4 Sword of Damocles attacks onto 4 random clawers and lower them from full health to wounded. And I mean, sure, I have the feral wounded thing on, so the things that are wounded are going to do a lot more damage if they get into melee with anything. But when they have no health, it's great, because they're going to be badly wounded, they're going to be slower, they're going to walk into the Haven, and then they're going to be one-shot. And early on in a Haven, this is kind of what I have to do. I'm not super confident about letting 10 plus full health clawers just walk in. I want everything that walks in to be near dead, so that I can just start shooting them. The other thing is that because this is a fresh save file, I've sort of forgotten where certain upgrades are in the meta progression. And one of those upgrades, actually 2 of those upgrades, and an omen, so 3? There are 3 upgrades that I can think of that apply to ballistas that make this strategy a lot more viable, or at least make ballistas a lot more dangerous. And I have none of that right now. And I'm going to realize that that's bad. And that I needed to ease into this a little bit more. Also, for this whole weaken them before they get into the Haven thing, a low crit rate actually is beneficial, because sometimes crit happens and you one-shot a Kalar. I don't actually want that. The particular position that the Clawers are coming to meet Bradford in the northeast is possibly as bad as it could have been for me, as I'm going to realize in a turn or two. Ballistas require a line of sight. And the shop is a large L-shaped building that is kind of between the Clawers' approach line and the giant circle of ballistas around the magic circle. But we're okay for now. So this Clawer marked with an exclamation mark, or any Clawer marked with an exclamation mark, is basically the only Clawer we want to kill. With the Apocalypse mod for 100% Panic, this also comes kind of important to make sure we kill them all. Now, that's kind of a redundant thing. It's very important we kill any Clawer that gets into the Haven. But if we don't want to lose out on rewards, we need to make sure that the Clawers don't run up the panic meter. Blockers. So things are going really well here on the south end. Like, anything that's going to get close to the Haven is going to be hit by a magical attack and be at half or less health. And this is great. That's exactly what I want to see. Now, sometimes the ballistas shoot a little bit longer, killing things outside of the Haven. That's sort of unavoidable, but it's alright. Now here, I think I really ought to just be shooting the Clawers on the edge of the Haven. There's only, what is that, 3 tiles between the edge of the Haven and the shop. The shop is really placed inconveniently for this. I would like one or two more tiles of leeway, because crawlers usually only move 4. We wound them, they're going to do 3 or 2. Whereas over here, there's what? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 empty tiles between the Haven and the first Ballista. So any crawler that starts outside of the Haven isn't going to make it to the Ballistas. At least not at movement 4. And that's pretty ideal. That's what I want for the Degenerate Corpse Strategy. I want enough space between the border of the Haven and anything that can be damaged to be able to basically soak a movement worth of a Claw's turn. I want a Claw at the edge of where I want to kill them or where I don't want to kill them to not have enough movement to make it into the Haven and scratch a Ballista or scratch a building. So that panic meter is very large. That could be a problem. This might get a few on the outside, but there are a lot of dudes in here, and I'm like, did I get more than I think I can reasonably handle? Have I made a mistake? But a lot of these are injured, and I can just kind of fatal touch them and fatality them. Finger of death. And so look at that. Pretty much solved over here. I could even kill more on the outside if I wanted to. And here's the problem with elves and the Degenerate Corpse Strategy. Those attacks didn't do much because she's losing a lot of damage output because of, what was it? One with Nature. The elf ability of lose damage in the Haven. It's not great, honestly. Now, I could maneuver her around and stand to the side of the Haven. And that's pretty doable in this situation. It's not doable in every situation. But a little finagling and I'd be fine here. I'm also gonna, I think, count tiles. No, alright. But here's the real problem on this side of things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 things that are inside the Haven here, and Bradford only has 5 AP. That helped, but not enough. There's still 4 or 5 things in the Haven here. Bradford has 1 AP. So this is not good. This is a little bit of a, I don't know what we'll call it, growing pains of the DCS. Okay, one of them got hit by a Ballista, that's great. So here's the problem. The shop blocks line of sight. That backmost Ballista, or some of the other ones, might have had shots, but they can't see over the building, or through the building. So the shop got clawed. Now, Grave Shot is great. Like, its only real weakness is that I can only use it once a turn. But there's still just too many things over here. However, seeing as the south is perfectly under control, I think we can move things around and we'll be okay. This isn't going to be great. I've already lost the nightly reward threshold that I care about, which is the A rank for panic meter, which is the item. You incrementally will lose materials and gold, so I've already lost some of that, which isn't great. But losing the item is kind of the big one, at least for me. However, on this side of the Haven, we're totally fine. I'm even going to throw a couple more of those. I probably should have saved that last one. Yeah, you know what? I'm not saving one more AP for that. Because then if Bradford had 2 AP right here instead of 1 AP, I would have had one more shot. I could have cleared the Haven. Dang. Well, the shop took a lot of damage. And that's not great. But neither is it entirely critical. As I've lamented a few times, the shop isn't built where I want it to be. It needs to be shifted 1 tile southwest, to be, I don't know, not wasting space on the side of the circle it's at. But honestly, if it's going to be this damage and it's going to be this in the way, I might just rebuild it like I did with the house. And just tear it down and shove it out in the back with the houses. So, I'm taking a lot of panic for getting it clawed up. But, really, even if it gets destroyed right now, it doesn't really do much to me. It's going to set me back the cost of building it, which is 55 gold, I think. And it's annoying, and it makes me look bad, but it really isn't a problem at all. So we had a rough 2 turns there. And, well, panic in the shop. And then, oh, hey, thanks, Ballistas. So, I kind of could have used the fences on the northeast side of the Haven. That would have slowed it down. It probably would have gotten destroyed and chewed through or whatever, but it probably would have led to less panic than that. So, here's why we did it. Why bother with letting them into the Haven? Well, corpse piles. We've seen these ones, these give an item, but Mountain of Corpses spends 2 workers for 3 items. Or, you know, 1 worker for 1.5 items, effectively. The more mountains you can get, the more items you get. And it's great. Then we're gonna either be digging those items up and putting them on our heroes for just power gain, for better gear to let our heroes kill better. And anything we don't use, we're just going to throw into the shop and liquefy into money so that we can then spend that on whatever else we want. Either more structures in case I want to build a well or a temple or something, or just turning it back into the shop. Like, if we dig up a bunch of loot we don't want, we sell it for money, we look into the shop, and we buy what we do want. So the DCS is a strategy all about just cycling loot for money. We're going to dig it up, we're going to use it, and eventually we're just going to sell it to the shop and buy higher level stuff. But that is it for the night, so join me next time for day 3 and the loot.